For decades, Dame Judi Dench was seen as the epitome of British theatre and film. She was a living legend, a performer whose work transcended the screen and stage, and her presence alone commanded respect. From Shakespeare to modern dramas, Dench was celebrated not just for her extraordinary talent, but also for the quiet authority she exuded. However, in her later years, she revealed that even a woman of such stature is not immune to the subtle pressures of the industry. Through honesty and grace, Dench has shown that her life and career, despite their remarkable public success, have been shaped by moments of vulnerability and the quiet battles that so often go unseen. When admiration turns unplacated, it is not uncommon for a seasoned performer like Judi Dench to work alongside younger talent or peers with whom she shares admiration. While she was always gracious in publicly acknowledging their brilliance, privately she knew when the dynamic shifted. Dench understood that admiration doesn't always equate to comfort, especially when professional relationships no longer serve their purpose. She was able to maintain a delicate balance between public respect and private boundaries. This ability to separate her admiration for colleagues from the need to endure discomfort became one of her defining strengths. It allowed her to continue working with integrity, choosing to preserve her dignity without sacrificing her artistic joy. Humor without regard. Comedy for Judi Dench was never an excuse for laziness or lack of preparation. While she appreciated the spontaneous nature of humor, she recognized when it veered into disregard for the work itself. Dench valued discipline, structure, and intention. Particularly in the early stages of rehearsal, when humor was used to undermine the integrity of the work, she immediately sensed the imbalance. Rather than negotiating her standards, Dench chose to disengage from projects or collaborations that didn't align with her values. There was no animosity, no lingering conflict, just a quiet understanding that collaboration must honor the shared goal. For her, true comedy came from respect for the craft, not from careless or unprepared improvisation. The pattern becomes clear over the years. A quiet pattern emerged in Judi Dench's career. In situations where respect was compromised, she simply walked away. There were no dramatic confrontations or public statements, just a calm, deliberate decision to move forward. Dench didn't need to blacklist or retaliate. Her career was long enough and her reputation solid enough that she could afford to leave behind environments that diminished her. Each time she set a boundary, she reinforced the next one. This approach allowed her to work with dignity and clarity, ensuring that her professional life remained shaped by choice, not by circumstances imposed upon her. Grace is not submission. Judi Dench's grace has often been misunderstood as softness or submission. In reality, her grace was rooted in certainty and self-awareness. She knew who she was, what she valued, and what she would not tolerate. This deep understanding of her own principles allowed her to navigate the often tumultuous world of theater and film with quiet strength. Her grace was never about yielding or complying. It was about choosing not to engage in petty conflicts and about knowing when to stand firm without the need for confrontation. Dench's approach to grace was a powerful demonstration of how strength can be quiet and principled, yet no less impactful. The quiet power of no saying no is a powerful act, one that doesn't always require justification. Judi Dench understood this instinctively. She declined projects or collaborations not because they lacked prestige, but because they didn't align with her values or principles. These decisions, though often unpublicized, shaped the trajectory of her career. Each time she said no, she protected the integrity of her work and her personal sense of purpose. For Dench, saying no was not about ego or exclusion, but about maintaining her standards. it was a quiet yet decisive way of ensuring that her career remained grounded in authenticity and purpose. Aging without apology, as Judi Dench grew older, she resisted the cultural narrative that framed aging as something to be diminished or sentimentalized. She did not allow herself to be seen as fragile simply because of the passage of time. Instead, Dench embraced the authority and experience that came with age, remaining sharp, curious, and fully engaged in her craft. When others tried to position her as a symbol of nostalgia, she made it clear that her work and her value were not defined by the years behind her, but by her continued passion and commitment. This quiet confidence disrupted expectations, showing that aging could be an act of self-assurance, not apology. Respect as a non-negotiable for Judi Dench, respect was never optional. She believed that talent did not excuse disrespect, and fame did not justify disregard. In an industry often driven by ego, Dench's insistence on basic courtesy was both radical and deeply principled. She never demanded special treatment. What she did demand was basic respect. When that respect was not forthcoming, she left. There were no dramatic exits, no public spectacles, just a quiet, firm decision to preserve her dignity and integrity, refusing to compromise on the standards she set for herself and others. A career shaped by choice. Looking back at Judi Dench's illustrious career, it is clear that her success was not only built on talent, but on a series of carefully considered decisions. From when to stay and when to leave, to who she allowed into her professional circle, Dench's career was shaped by her values. These decisions, though not always visible to the public, were deeply felt by her. They allowed her to work into her 90s without scandal or bitterness, with a career rich in accomplishment and free from regret. Her longevity was not a product of chance, but of intentionality, and it reflects the quiet power of her choices, the strength of silence. Silence, when chosen deliberately, can be a form of immense strength. Judi Dench used silence not to erase herself, but to preserve her own dignity and sense of self. She knew that not every slight required a response, and not every conflict needed to be resolved. In her view, some moments were revelations of truth, and once that truth was known, there was no need to explain it further. Silence became her final word, a powerful testament to her ability to maintain her integrity without resorting to drama or public confrontation. What her story teaches. Judi Dench's story teaches us that respect is not something guaranteed by reputation alone. It must be actively maintained through clear boundaries. Her career is not defined by conflict, but by clarity and a strong sense of self. It is a reminder that grace does not mean submission, and authority can be quietly asserted without force. In an industry that often values noise over substance, Dench's legacy proves that quiet resolve can be just as powerful as any loud triumph. The line that never moved. Throughout her life and career, one principle remained unchanged for Judi Dench. Once respect was lost, the door closed. It was never a punishment, but a form of self-preservation. This quiet, firm stance ensured that she could continue to work in an environment that upheld her values. And in this, perhaps more than in any role she played, is what truly made Judi Dench untouchable. She knew that maintaining her own integrity was more important than any project or partnership. And for that, she remains a true icon.